everyone, and welcome back. I'm here to share with you my process for making my own reusable panty liners or menstrual pads out of natural materials. The idea for this project came about this summer when I was staying with my friend Kat, who lives off-grid in the Portuguese countryside. I had my period while I was there, and as they only compost and recycle, it became really clear that the disposable panty liners I was using as a backup to my menstrual cup were the only thing creating waste on my trip. Kat showed me the reusable liners she had purchased, and I thought, I can make that. So I finally did, and I will leave the measurements I used below if you'd like to give my blueprint a try. I do recommend making just one to start, as all of our bodies are different and you may need to adjust to get the right fit and comfort for you. As for materials, I used an old cotton sheet for the base. It has several holes in it, so I'm now using the fabric in various projects. I traced around my pattern piece over 2 layers of fabric and pinned them together before cutting them out. For the absorbent layer, I used some wool scraps from the coat I sewed at the beginning of this year. If you don't have something like this lying around, you could use old towels, or this type of fabric is easy to find in fabric stores in the cooler months. I had read advice on various blogs that you should use a plasticky fabric for the backing to prevent leaks, but I don't have any fabrics like this lying around, and also didn't feel it was necessary as I'm just using these as a backup with my cup. I did decide to use a cotton viscose lightweight interfacing that I did have in my stash on the bottom layer, but it's probably not needed. The first step is sewing the absorbent layer to one of the outside pieces. I did this just by sewing 2 vertical seams down each side to secure it. I sewed both seams in the same direction to avoid puckering later. Then I placed both pieces right sides together, so the interfacing, if used, facing down, and the piece with the wool layer facing up. Then I pinned them together to sew around. I added a 1 centimeter seam allowance to my pattern piece, but probably could have done with a smaller one. I began sewing around and then realized I had run out of thread on my bobbin. With that taken care of, I continued sewing around, but left one of the short ends open. Next, I trimmed off all of my seam allowances and then turned it inside out. This is honestly the trickiest part of the whole process. I gave it a press and then turned in the raw edge and pressed again. I then top stitched around the entire edge, which of course stitched closed the opening. Then it was time to sew on the snaps. I chose metal snaps because, again, I wanted to use natural materials. It took a bit of time to sew them on, but for me, it's a precious, mindful part of the hand-making process. After testing my prototype, I went on to make 4 more and now have all waste-free menstruation products. I hope you feel inspired to perhaps make some or think of other projects to simplify your life. If you do have other projects like this, please feel free to share them with us in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for more nature, wild crafting, and homemade adventures. Be well, and I'll see you again very soon.